In this last video, I'm just going to touch up a little thing I noticed between my app and the app that was the demo app. When you first run the app, you get nothing. And if you do colors or locations before you click shapes, you don't get to see anything. So I'm going to write some code that's going to do an initial run of all the buttons, shapes, location, and colors. But right now, in order to do that, what I would have to do is I would have to copy and paste all this code to the beginning, all this code to the beginning, and all that code to the beginning for each of the buttons. And then I'd have the code in two places, and that just seems kind of redundant. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use the power of functions. And I'm going to write some functions. So I'm going to write a function that does the shape, sorry about the spelling there, a little bit of lag there. I'm going to do a function that does shapes, and the function that does shapes is going to be all of this code right in here. So I'm going to click and drag, move that code into the new function. Wow, a lot of lag. Sorry about that. That might be tough on a Chromebook. The next function, and then I got to call the function. So I'm going to call the function. The function is called shapes. So I'm going to call shapes. And I'm going to test it to see if it works. I run it. And when I click on shapes, it still works. Shapes is still doing what it's supposed to do. And I'm also going to add it to the top of the code here. So when I first run the program, wow, lag, sorry, shapes is going to go. So there it is, and let's reset and let's run it. And notice there's a default situation before I even start. And I can still change shapes. Shapes works. So next, let's add another function. My next function is going to be function, let's change the, next one is location. So let's change location. So here's my locations function. I'm going to drag that code out of this locations area. I'm going to move it down. Again, a little painful, but I moved it down. And now instead of locations being, I have to call locations. A function won't work unless you call it. So I'm going to add locations there. And I'm also going to have locations start up by default. And now, oops. Now when I run my program at first, it automatically starts scrambled. Look at that. And it still works when I click on it, and when I did that, I didn't break shape. Last button to get done is colors. So I'm going to make the colors function. I notice it moves a lot smoother if I stop the program from running when I'm coding it. That might be a tip. See how I stopped the program from running? Then there didn't seem to be as much lag. So now I'm going to drag this code for colors. That was a beast to write. And I'm going to drag that into the colors function. Oop, I missed a block. I also want to do this one, the background color. So I want all of that in colors, even though that only runs once and that runs 20 times. And then I got to make sure I call the function. And again, call the function. And here we go. We're going to run it. And look, it does a default. Color still works. Locations works. Shape works. Everything works. And I'm using 3 functions that I call in the beginning. Cool deal.